Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We've been talking about digital piracy and why people continue to download software and entertainment illegally. A deal between Apple and music label EMI ushered in a new era this past May for downloadable music with no restrictions on copying. ABC 7 Moneyscope reporter David Louie explains what this means and whether it will help or hurt illegal copying. His report was filed in May of 2007.
Songs from EMI on iTunes will have two prices, 99 cents for copyright-protected downloads and $1.29 for music files without restrictions.
What we're announcing today is just putting the digital world on par with the CD.
By paying an additional 30 cents, the file will no longer have restrictions on copying, just like CDs. The music will also be higher quality, an important issue if you play your iPod through a sound system rather than earbuds.
The consumer now has control over what they do with what they buy. You buy the file, it's the last time you should ever have to buy that piece of music, because it doesn't matter what player you go to in the future. Do you have an iPod? Great. Do you have a non-iPod? Great. This will play on pretty much any player, any computer, anywhere for many, many years, probably forever.
EMI is breaking from other music labels that require digital music to be encoded with DRM, Digital Rights Management. DRM restricts copying. The issue becomes whether EMI thinks it can sell more music without restrictions. Steve Jobs has been pushing this, but will it also encourage more piracy? Mark Greenberg is director of the Intellectual Property Program at Golden Gate University Law School.
The deal is, in exchange for dropping the DRM, they get to charge more. So it's a business call. They decided on a cost-benefit analysis, they think they can make more money this way than the harm they're going to get from the illegal downloading, which is already happening.
There is a trade-off for these higher quality unrestricted files. Because they're twice as large as the files you download now, your iPod will be able to hold only half as much. Other music labels will be watching to see if this plan works or backfires.
That's what's making this deal work. The psychology that people are going to say, no, I'm either going to do the right thing, or forget you, go buy your own. I paid for my copy.
EMI has a huge library of music, including the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. However, Beatles songs are not part of the deal, at least for now. Well, joining me in the studio is Corinne McSherry. She is a staff attorney for the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I have to know, what does this do? EFF, right? Corinne? What does it stand? What do y'all do?
Sure. The Electronic Frontier Foundation is a digital rights advocacy group. Basically what we try to do is make sure that fair use and civil liberties sort of make it intact onto the Internet.
All right. So you watched the report by David Louie, and that's a very proactive movement by the industry.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. It's nice to see the music industry taking a proactive approach to the reality, which is that millions of people are file sharing and millions of people are going to continue file sharing. That is the reality, and what we need to do is to focus on that and figure out how to respond to it, rather than, unfortunately, what's happened over the past few years is the music industry has, instead of investing in new business models, spent a lot of money paying their lawyers to sue music fans, which we view as not a very positive response.
No. Now, I know that we've been talking for most of the show about the fact that you should not be downloading this stuff illegally, but there are things that are legal to share.
That's right. That's right. There's material out there that either is in the public domain, which means it's perfectly fine to share it, and he'll talk a little bit about that at the beginning. There's music that artists have made available to their fans and said, please do share it. Please go ahead and download. It's okay. And there's also music that has been made available under what's called a Creative Commons license, which means, again, in many circumstances, it's okay to share it as long as, for example, it's not commercial.
All right, so we talked also about the iTunes, so there's some other things out there that the people can do that are reasonable or that make good sense, that are proactive?
Sure, there's lots of services. There's iTunes, there's EMI's approach, there are subscription services, some of which aren't so great because as soon as you stop the subscription you can't get access to the music anymore. Other ones are a little bit more positive, we think, like eMusic, where you get unlimited downloads that don't cut off when your subscription expires or you decide not to subscribe anymore. Those are all good approaches. They don't answer all the problems, but they're steps in the right direction.
Now, what do you see as the biggest problem now?
Well, I think that there are two problems now. One is that for regular music fans, they won't always know whether the sharing is legal or not. They need to make fair use determinations, and that can be hard to do. And the other problem is that many students or people who want to engage in file sharing aren't going to even pay that $1.29 a song or that 99 cents a song. Right now, the problem is that the companies need to compete with free.